This is the QTV Nightly News, and I am Loli M. Kamara. Thank you for joining us. Here are the headlines. A national dialogue on the Gambia's draft constitution took place on Wednesday to continue discussions as the document nears its second reading at the National Assembly in March. And we heard about a related meeting between President Barrow and opposition leader Ousseynou Dabo. 7 executive directors of the African Development Bank, AfDB, accompanied by the Minister of Finance and senior officials from the Central Bank of the Gambia, visited several key AfDB project sites across the country on Wednesday. In the true spirit of Sunyubus, our own, Q Group donated 400 bags of rice and 200 bags of sugar to the Gambia Christian Council in support of Lent. The National Health Insurance Authority held a press conference on Thursday to update the public on the ongoing implementation of the National Health Insurance Scheme. We report on the current deplorable condition of Brikama market, one of the busiest markets in the West Coast region, which has long been affected by severe drainage and sanitation issues. Those were the headlines. Now the news in detail. A national dialogue on the Gambia's draft constitution took place on Wednesday to continue discussions as the document nears its second reading at the National Assembly in March. And we heard about a related meeting between President Barrow and opposition leader Ousseynou Dabo. Mamadou Gajaga attended the convergence, and he now reports.
The national dialogue brought together representatives from political parties, National Assembly members, civil society, and the public to discuss the Gambia's draft constitution. The event was organized by the International IDEA in partnership with the Ministry of Justice. Dr. Mohammed Ibn Chambers is leading the dialogue to bring stakeholders together on the draft constitution.
Consultations need to be deepened because, as I never cease reminding Gambians, all Gambians, that a national constitution in a country should be owned by all major stakeholders because it's the fundamental law of the land.
There are disagreements surrounding the draft constitution, particularly between the 2020 and the 2024 versions. Despite a closed-door meeting between President Barrow and Ousseynou Dabo, leader of the United Democratic Party, although no statement has been issued by either side, reports have emerged indicating that no consensus was reached. Dr. Chambers confirmed that the meeting did take place. However, he did not provide further details on whether an agreement was reached.
There have been consultations at the highest level of the two major parties. His Excellency, Mr. President, President Adama Barrow, received yesterday His Excellency Attorney Ousseynou Dabo to engage the kind of consultations that we believe can only encourage more dialogue, more consultation.
Regarding the calls for continued consultations to reach a consensus for the draft constitution's second reading on March 27, 2025, Reverend Bani Ebenezer F. Manga, chairman of the Gambia Christian Council and one of the moral guarantors, along with Fatou Jagne Senghor, a human rights advocate, expressed optimism and called for unity in the process.
We encourage all of us at this crucial stage of our national history to necessarily implement the words of our national pledge, government and the people working together in unison.
I think the tone is set. We are very pleased and optimistic. Let's walk in that spirit. And I just want to say, when we wanted it in 2016, we came together in unison. That's why we got the change. Let's work in unison so that we can get the constitution that Gambians deserve.
Submissions from political parties and civil society organizations highlighted several challenges, including issues relating to presidential term limits and what some termed the excessive powers granted to the executive branch of government in the 2024 draft constitution. Mamudu Kajaga, QTV News.
In a significant commitment to national development, 7 executive directors of the African Development Bank, AfDB, accompanied by the Minister of Finance and senior officials from the Central Bank of the Gambia, visited several key AfDB projects sites across the country on Wednesday. Usman Jatta accompanied them and he filed this report.
For many years, the African Development Bank, AfDB, has helped shape the country's economy by funding various projects in key sectors of the economy. This day-long visit of the AfDB team of directors focused on a series of high-impact infrastructure, energy and agricultural projects funded by the AfDB, which are central to the nation's long-term development strategy. The team made their first stop at the 5-acre Basori Women's Garden in the West Coast region. As a beneficiary of the Gambia Agriculture and Food Security Project, receiving funding from the African Development Bank, the garden receives several support for various initiatives, including significantly the establishment of a cold storage facility to prevent post-harvest losses. The AfDB delegates interacted with the project coordinators and beneficiaries to assess the project's progress. Here is Momodu Sow, the project director of the Gambia Agriculture and Food Security Project, and Nani Mane, a beneficiary.
This is the 3rd season that we have been supporting this garden, and so far progress is going well.
Since its establishment, we pay our children's school fees and cover all the basic needs of our families through this garden.
From Basori, the AfDB team headed to the OMVG Soma substation, where they were accompanied on a side tour of the power transmission network before heading to the Senegambia Bridge, a key investment of the Continental Bank. The team finally proceeded to Farafenye to assess ongoing electricity modernization projects in border communities. During the tour, the AfDB directors praised the government's proactive approach to utilizing AfDB funding to catalyze socio-economic progress, particularly in rural areas where development is most needed.
We certainly see we are in the right direction as the African Development Bank. We saw young people being empowered through electricity, being able to access schooling. We saw women improving their livelihoods, taking care of themselves, taking care of their families. We saw regional integration at play through the West Africa Power Pool. We're in the right direction. But I think it also made us realize that we need to do more. We need to intensify our efforts because we really are having an impact on the people of Gambia.
The government's continued collaboration with the AfDB underscores its commitment to improving the living standards of its people while positioning the country as a key player in Africa's economic growth. Finance and Economic Affairs Minister C.D.M. Keita emphasized that the strategic alignment between the national policies and AfDB's investment priorities has strengthened the country's ability to secure sustainable funding for development.
It takes a lot of confidence to evacuate a whole 7 board members of a development bank to come and visit. And this visit is a first of its kind. And we are pleased that under the leadership of the President and us as cabinet colleagues and our technicians, we are all rallying to the call of the President to expedite the development and ensure that the developmental transformation that the President has embarked on is realized soonest.
As the partnership between the government and the AfDB grows, it remains a symbol of Africa's collective determination to overcome challenges and unlock the continent's vast potential. Osman Jatta reporting for QTV News.
In the true spirit of Sunyubos Our Own, Q Group donated 200 bags of sugar and 400 bags of rice to Gambia Christian Council in support of Lent. This generous gesture highlights Q Group's dedication to giving back to communities, promoting unity and fostering shared responsibility. Pa Daniel Gomez filed in this report.
Lent is a sacred time of prayer, fasting and giving, and this donation will help ensure that many in the Christian community can observe the season with dignity and devotion. Augustine Jatta, head of projects at QCell, reaffirms Q Group's strong commitment to communities unity, and shared responsibility.
Presentation comes with, understand, the 400 bags of rice and 200 bags of sugar for the sake of the Christian community. And I hope all those who are not opportune to be comfortable financially will benefit from this. So it is a small way to say that we are Christians are part of the community, that the Q group is focused on partnering.
Jean Abel Thomas, Vice President of the Gambia Christian Council, and Reverend Father Antoine Sambo, Head of Interchurch and Interfaith Committee, both expressed the Council's gratitude for the noble gesture.
I want to take this opportunity to say a big thank you to the QCell group. This has fostered peace in this country, and it's the envy of other nationalities. When you look at the Christian-Muslim relationship, we have gone beyond expectation. We thank God for this, and we pray for peace in the country.
Reverend Father Moses Drame, General Secretary of the Gambia Christian Council, commended Q Group and assured that the donated bags of rice and sugar will be distributed to the most vulnerable.
And we pray, but our fasting and our prayer will be meaningless if we do not share, if we do not give alms. And that is the reason why this gesture of yours is very, very important for us as a council, because by extension, or we are expected to extend this gesture to the less privileged within the Christian community, for them to also experience the gratitude or the goodness of God in their lives.
As a group of companies that take pride in being our own, Q Group continues to lead by example, championing initiatives that uplift and empower Gambians. This demonstrates that true progress comes from caring for one another. As we approach the sacred season of Lent, which coincides with the holy month of Ramadan, the Gambia Christian Council wishes both Muslims and Christians a blessed time of fasting, reflection, and divine guidance. Reporting for QTV News, I am Padre Neil Gomez.
We'll now go for a commercial break. When we return, we have more local news stories. Do stay tuned.
fii mooy fan fii mooy Inessa di place bi nga xam ne moom la ñëpp taam place bii bépp xeetu ataaya bu baax rek bu dugg see ci dëkk bi xamal ne fii rek la am bara wërga bii neex na lool saf na ba pare tamit nag am gu bu neex boo ko naanee rek da ngay kontaan ci saas añ ba suur ba gëreesal li nga lekk jëndal baara ataaya bii ndax moom la ñëpp taam gis nga sama client bii ataaya bu neex bu ne moom laa koy njëkk a jox ndax moom kat ataaya bu neex rek lay wër baara wërga bii mooy wërga bi gën te moo gën a saf kon nag ràññee leen ko bu baax kon daw leen gaaw ca Banjul foofu ca Inessa di place bi nga xam ni foofu rek nga ko mën a amee wholesale wala retail mu ngi foofu ci boori court house bi foofu ca Banjul wala nga daw ci bépp marché bépp supermarket bépp boutique fépp foo dugg rek di nga mën a am baara warga bii nga xam ne moom la ñëpp di wër tey baara warga moo dàq ci warga yi man maa ngi ci moom ndax su ma mënee ataaya moom rek lay naan.
Supersonics Islamic Insurance. Nyinne Gambia la insurance follow te mi yalonko yalla solo kuwol kamalena minne sariyango tata ye kukuto kamalena minul be sone yaring falla bunda dal nga insurance service sifa jamal le sotalie pour kaje ko ali kayro soto tanko anin hakil tenkugo wati o wati sulatala ida ke Supersonic Insurance Company la do kuoto isen na lodulaje nkumandi bi +220 513 2319 513-2318 wala 513-2315. Isen email no info@supersonicinsurance.com. Wara yetan na website oto www.supersonicinsurance.com. Ese futano na dunkira bato bimbe Beka Plaza 56 Liberation Avenue Banjul.
Welcome back, and this is QTV News. The National Health Insurance Authority held a press conference on Thursday to update the public on the ongoing implementation of the National Health Insurance Scheme and its progress to date, as well as the steps being taken to expand healthcare access throughout the Gambia. Yafatagay tells us more.
The National Health Insurance Scheme, NHIS, introduced in 2021, is a Gambian government initiative that provides free health care, including maternal health, to Gambians. Among other benefits, it offers free delivery services, including both normal and cesarean section deliveries to women enrolled in the scheme. During the press conference, the NHIA officials highlighted the success of the scheme, emphasizing how it has improved healthcare access for mothers and infants. Present at the conference were Baima Sen, the CEO of NHIA, and Dr. Hassan Jai, the Director of Services for NHIA.
The National Health Insurance Scheme is designed to protect residents from the financial strains of accessing essential healthcare services. Our goal is to create a system where no one is left behind, where every resident, regardless of their background or status, can receive the care they need without financial hardship.
Currently, we are at advanced stage of preparing to roll out to the remaining 54 public health facilities across the country. So hopefully in March 2025, we would include these additional facilities.
Alu Sow, the scheme's membership manager, guided us through the scheme's membership requirements and enrollment process.
And for the membership, is guided by the NHIS Act 2021, which state that for one to be a member, you have to be a resident of the Gambia, as well as not being a part of a private health insurance scheme. So there is a little gap in this because it gives options for individuals to choose whether to be part of the NHIS or not. For the National Health Insurance Scheme, for you to be enrolled and start receiving services, you need to have either of these. That is the National Health Insurance Card or the electronic birth certificate.
Stella Yausen, a senior nursing officer at Carnifin General Hospital and focal person for the NHIS, shared real-life examples highlighting the positive impact the scheme has had on both mothers and children. She also encouraged the NHIA to extend the benefits of the scheme across the entire country.
Since the rollout started, thank God, the quality of care has improved. Most of our patients, the out-of-pocket spending has reduced, and then the hospital, most of our consumable drugs are available, especially the emergencies and the lab investigation.
The National Insurance Scheme is a key step towards universal health coverage in the Gambia. With support from the government and stakeholders, the NHIA aims to expand its impact and raise awareness, encouraging more citizens to register and benefit from its healthcare services. Reporting for QTV News, this is Yafatigay.
The Brikama market, one of the busiest in the West Coast region, has long struggled with drainage issues, resulting in sewage pollution surrounded by filth and trash. With Lent and Ramadan approaching, QTV visited the fish market last week to get a glimpse of the working conditions for vendors and what awaits those shopping there. Babukar Sise has more.
Both vendors and customers have long voiced their frustration and displeasure about the deteriorating conditions at the Brikama fish market. The market's poor drainage system has created a persistent problem with sewage that not only contaminates the environment, but also fills the air with an unbearable stench. This unsanitary condition has led to the proliferation of stray animals, flies, and maggots, which further exacerbate the situation. The filth and foul smell makes it difficult for vendors to conduct business and for customers to shop, while the presence of these pests poses a significant health risk to all. Despite the ongoing complaints, the market continues to face these challenges with little or no sign of improvement. In June 2022, After conducting an inspection of the market, the Food Safety and Quality Authority, FSQA, ordered its temporary closure and that of all nearby food shops due to the poor hygiene conditions. FSQA officials stated that the ban on food sales in this section of the fish market was necessary because of the high level of contamination. At the time, the market committee held the Ministry of Fisheries also accountable, stating that they are the custodians of the fish market. The market committee claimed that despite multiple engagements with the ministry, they had not provided any support to help maintain the facility. After FSQA permitted the fish market to reopen in 2022 after a few days of closure, QTV revisited the site. During this visit, the market looked completely different. It was clean, tidy, and the foul-smelling sewage had vanished. The cleanup was carried out by the market authorities with support from the Brikama Area Council. In March 2023, President Barrow inaugurated the newly built Brikama Market, which has 88 stalls and was built at a cost of over $38 million. The facility was highly welcomed, especially after a fire outbreak ravaged the market in 2020. The authorities at the fish market had appealed to the government and their partners for assistance in providing a septic tank to solve the sewage problem. The Brikama market is at a strategic junction linking the coast and the inland. As a popular retail market, it serves not only the people of Brikama but also the neighboring villages who come to either shop or sell their produce. It was constructed 14 years ago with the help of a grant of approximately $126 million from the government of Japan. At the time, it was proposed that, among other upgrades, a new water supply system would be installed to maintain a healthy and hygienic environment. However, the market has continued to struggle with ongoing drainage and sanitary problems. For now, this is the current condition of the fish market that shoppers should be made aware of before visiting. Babakar Sise, QTV News.
The community of Kianjanya in Lower River Region celebrated the Gambia's 60th anniversary on Saturday. Our regional correspondent Bakari Balde attended the event and filed this report.
The event, which brought together village elders, women and children, all dressed in traditional clothing, to celebrate the Gambia's 60th independence anniversary. The activity began with the singing of the national anthem, followed by speeches from various speakers who emphasized the significance of celebrating such milestone in the village. Fabakar Sane, the regional youth coordinator and a native of the village, delivered the welcoming remarks and further outlined the purpose of the event.
The aims of this program is to bring young people, at least to create social cohesiveness in our community. As from one family, one community, one nation, together we can make it. We all know development is people-centered. Without people, you cannot do any development. Without people acceptance, there's no development. If you give everything to people, if they don't appreciate it, still it can tantamount to nothing. But even with little advice, if they accept it, can change a better world.
Bakari Mane, a member of the organizing committee, highlighted the importance of targeting children in such events within the community.
The reason of celebrating this independence is to tell the young ones how Gambia was and how Gambia is today. Because most of what we have learned it in school and people are learning it in school, but the children that we are targeting are not yet learning it in school because those are grade 1, grade 2 up to grade 6. So we need to tell them how Gambia was and how Gambia is today. Because even in our marital status, before, you will see that if a girl child has grown to get married, our old parents, our great-grandfathers or our grandfathers will just look at somebody who will say, this is the one who is going to marry the child. Whether the child loves the girl loves the boy or he doesn't love, he has to follow and obey. But nowadays, they have to arrange it by themselves and come back to the parents.
Anna Caruana from Malta, the chief guest, who has been supporting Jenier and other communities in the Gambia for a decade, expressed her delight in being part of the independence celebration. She described the Gambia
as her second home.
All I have to say is that I love you all very much, and I will let someone else talk after me. Thank you for accepting me as one of you, because I accept you all as one of me, as part of me, part of my life.
The event is commemorated to reflect on the struggles and sacrifices made for independence, celebrate national achievements, strengthen unity, and promote national pride and identity among citizens. The Junior community commemorated the event with a full day of celebrations featuring poem readings and dancing. Bakari Balde, QTV News.
Before we end, here's a recap of the headlines. A national dialogue on the Gambia's draft constitution took place on Wednesday to continue discussions as the document nears its second reading at the National Assembly in March. And we heard about a related meeting between President Barrow and opposition leader Ousainou Darboe. 7 executive directors of the African Development Bank, AfDB, accompanied by the Minister of Finance and senior officials from the Central Bank of the Gambia, visited several AfDB project sites across the country on Wednesday. In the true spirit of Sunyubos, our own Q group donated 400 bags of rice and 200 bags of sugar to the Gambia Christian Council in support of Lent. The National Health Insurance Authority held a press conference on Thursday to update the public on the ongoing implementation of the National Health Insurance Scheme. We reported on the current deplorable condition of Brikama market, one of the busiest markets in the West Coast region, which has long been affected by severe drainage and sanitation issues. That's all for now in this news bulletin. Join us again at 10 p.m. for another bulletin. Thanks for watching.